Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we go on the first thing on our agenda, just to remind everybody and then highlighted Mr. Martinez actually is going to join us via Zoom. When we need to take a vote on any particular items or whatever that might be, and then we're gonna do the roll call, just to give everybody a heads up. And so 7 p.m. We're gonna start with continued public hearing on the application of Claims 101 Incorporated for a Class 1 dealer's license. Premises located at 57 Mendes Street. And
Mr. Stern,
Mr. Stern,
come on.
hi, come on up. Let's hear what you got for us.
What? I think you've said it all. I would propose something that Bellingham, I don't think Bellingham has had here ever. It's an upfitter. And as an upfitter, what we do is we buy a truck that is only a cab and a frame. And then we'll put suspension, axles, a body, and then what we're going to sell. Our specialty is cranes and bucket trucks, more bucket trucks than anything. So we'll upfit that bare truck with a bucket truck and then sell it. Now, we're prepared to sell them online. That is really our number one focus. We have two experienced upfitters already working in our mechanic shops. So we have the tooling, we have the ability to do it. We also have a contract with International Navistar through Taylor and Lloyd International. And that's how they propose to market their trucks to an upfitter. You have to go through a dealer. So we've already established that relationship. And I brought here for your visual, what an upfitter, this is what an upfitter certificate looks like on a vehicle. So you can see you've got the vehicle, and then you have the upfitter. We'll put the serial number on there. They'll also put the GVW because they're establishing the GVW of the truck at that time, depending on how they upfit it. So I had a couple trucks in the yard. Here's one that came directly from the manufacturer, and you see they mark it as an incomplete vehicle because that's what it is. And then the second page of that is the upfitter. And here's another one. This is a Navistar, the same thing. It's a bucket truck. Thank you, Dolores.
You're welcome.
These are just basically the tags for these trucks, the certificates.
Right, that's how it looks.
Okay.
When you have a truck that's been upfitted.
Yep. Man, that's a couple of questions. Let him, just gonna finish and then we can ask questions.
Oh, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
I know, Rob, and, I think he has an input, but Mr. Hennessy, I'd like to ask you a question.
Last time you were here, we gave you some homework to do.
How did I do?
Did you do it?
What was the homework?
You had to do a lot of stuff around the land. I think you had to clean up some of the land.
Oh, yeah.
Questions of a fence.
Yep.
Did you do any of that work?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, we're absolutely on top of it. Yeah.
Um,
Let me tell you where we stand, that you need to know.
Okay.
So
Um,
if you don't mind, if you have nothing else to add at the moment, I'm gonna actually ask Mr. Lucia to come and join us, and then, or if you wanna just add in your input on this matter.
Sure, so. If you recall from the first public hearing, first, Don, can you hear me okay? Okay,
Yeah, he
perfect,
gives a
thanks.
thumbs up.
So from the first public hearing, I know this was actually pushed or continued because there was an active, planning board application that was being contemplated. And that was for a stormwater management permit, and so what Jay was proposing was improvements to the stormwater system that he had. It included doing some work on his existing basin and adding an underground system as well. And then also some improvements around the yard, which, Mike, as you were mentioning, there was issues with an existing fence. Part of that plan is to put up a new proposed fence as well to continue along the perimeter of the property. Repaving and curbing as well to help with some runoff onto the neighbors' properties. As well as, yeah, some general cleanup in the backyard area. So with that, Jay has started. We had a pre-construction meeting and I've done a couple inspections. I think Jay's waiting on some of the structures for the underground system.
Oh, they're all there.
Oh, they've been delivered?
Yep.
I know they haven't been installed yet, so, so they've been delivered but not installed yet. But, so he started the work. Couple things regarding the application, though. So one of the main concerns during the planning board process, when we were talking about the stormwater management plan, was there was a lot of questions from neighbors about what exactly is going on the property. So Jay has his Cranes 101 business, which there's an administrative building along the front, which if you've driven by the property, you've probably seen the white, it looks like a single family house. There's also what I believe is the training classroom, which is the building in the middle, right, Jay?
Yep.
And then there's also a metal building in the back that is used as a hoisting, equipment maintenance or some type of garage associated with the hoisting equipment. With that, the big question was, what exactly is all the equipment in the back? And one thing that I want to specify in our plan that the planning board had was really trying to solidify exactly what is allowed through zoning for storage of vehicles, which we did not grant any relief from the zoning for any of the vehicles back there. So our zoning allows 3 light commercial vehicles or 1 heavy commercial vehicle. The one item that was, or the information that was requested from the applicant was unregistered equipment associated with training, because he does training with equipment in the back with the booms and such. And according to that application, there would be no more than 6 of those vehicles used. So with that, if you're gonna be granting this permit, I would recommend a couple things to just keep in mind. Number one, there's still work that needs to be done. We're still in the preliminary stages of the improvements associated with the planning board approval. Jay is currently working on it, but I would highly recommend granting the permit once that is done. If you decide to grant the permit, it should only be done after those improvements are complete. That's the first thing. The second thing is I would definitely try to highlight or restrict exactly how many vehicles are going to be on site, because we don't want to run into issues where there's a lot of vehicles back there and they're starting to get mixed with the unregistered training vehicles or the 1 heavy vehicle for the mechanic place. The other item too, which Jay, this is more of a question to you. I assume that the chassis and cabs come in on a flatbed, like an 18-wheeler.
Yes,
Where do you plan on unloading those? Because it can't be on Mendon Street. And there's not a lot of room on your site, so.
Oh, there's enough room inside.
All right, well, that's also something else I would highly recommend, just making sure that if there is a permit that is issued, that there's no unloading on the public right of way. So, so with that, if you have any questions for me, I'm here, but that's kind of the overview.
I'm gonna ask the question to Mr. Martinez because he's via Zoom. I'm gonna start with him, if anybody don't mind.
fine.
Mr. Martinez, do you have any questions on this topic?
You're on mute.
No, I know. I thank you. How far back, sir, how many years have you been in business?
24.
24 years? And in the 24 years that you've been in business, have you ever been cited for any violations, zoning violations, noise, or anything along those lines?
To my knowledge, I have no recollection of ever being cited, no.
Mr. Chair, this is to Mr. Lucy. Mr. Lucy, do you know of any, or if Mr. Icardi is there, I saw him earlier.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any violations or anything that this business?
So, yes, sure. So, I think early on when, Cranes 101 was moved in, I think there was some questions about the use and how many uses. That was, probably, it was before me, so it was
Okay,
about 12 years ago, maybe. I don't know if you remember Dennis or not, but, I think there was a period where there was some enforcement I saw in the file, but
Okay.
they did, go over that and, get it straightened out exactly what use he was.
well, that's kind of where I'm going here with my line of questioning, because although I'm not there in the room, I'm sitting here listening that he's been in business for 24 years. It's zoned the way it's zoned. He's conducting business. There have been no violations that I've seen or heard. And when items were brought to his attention or they were remedied. And I don't know if we're voting on this at this point or this is just discussion, but and this is to Mr. Lucier. How many more meetings is it going to take for the planning board to kind of give their approval, or have they already given the approval? Can you just speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so the planning board already approved the plan.
Okay,
And I think they approved it back in, I think January or February, maybe,
okay,
this year. It was definitely a long process.
yes,
But yeah, so it's been approved and,
Okay.
that's where, so we had the pre-construction meeting and
Mhm.
there has been some work. The work has started, I should say, to be in
Okay.
compliance with the plan.
So aside from any additional work on the property itself, are they within the noise ordinance? Because what we don't want is another business disturbing our residents. I mean, it's kind of that mixed residential. You've got commercial, industrial, restaurants, and all mixed in with a neighborhood. And I don't want to add to any issues that they're coming to us for. When I say they, I mean the residents.
Yeah, well, I will say that I would definitely be inclined to make sure that any work that's to be done is going to be indoors in that building in the back.
Okay, yeah.
Cause I would not by any means permit any outdoor work. And
Right.
this is right on the border of
I guess
residential.
I want the applicant's word, that there will not be any outdoor work, because when you start putting chassis and frames, you're welding, you're doing different things. I want to make sure that that work does remain inside. And I want to make sure that we have your word as an applicant, because what I don't want to do is disturb the residents any more than they're already disturbed. Do we have your word, sir?
That is now and always has been our focus. We do occasionally, though, where we're working on a boom, we do occasionally have to bring the truck outside to unfold the boom to work on it. But you'll see that many times we'll unfold the boom outside and then bring the truck inside.
But you're doing that today, correct?
Yes.
That's not something that's going to be new. You're doing that today.
That's because it's in our plan, that's.
Right,
we're
right.
not Gonna
So
change
I,
that.
my point is, if you're doing it today and we're not hearing from the neighbors, then you're not gonna add to it.
Correct.
Okay. I hope you can hear me. All right, that's all the questions I have. I mean, it's been through planning. They went through it all. We've heard from residents and he's been a really good, business owner for 24 years with very little issues.
Rob, raising his hand.
Okay.
Mr. Martinez, I think the Tim needs to add something, if you don't mind.
Okay,
I'll go back to Rob again. Don't mind, Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Sure,
So
I'm-
to add to Rob's definition, so you hit it right on the head. So manufacturing, welding, assembling, all should be inside. It should be, if you're inclined to approve this, I'm assuming it's a class 1. Is that what he's
Yes,
requesting?
it's,
Yeah.
It should, all the fabrication should be indoors because he's backed up to residential on both sides.
Mhm.
A lot of the neighbors are affected by it. He's been working with them, I think a little bit and, but that's really important. The other thing is, you're gonna, if you're gonna approve this, if you can condition it to how many vehicles and what he can and can't do, just for enforcement purposes, every class 1 or class 2 license comes with a count of vehicles. And we annually, before it's permitted, come at the end of the year, we go out and check all of the licensing that you issue. And we count the vehicles, so it's, that's pretty important,
Yeah.
So I don't know what the number is, I don't know what he's asking for, how many vehicles at a time, but I think, that's the important part of this.
Yeah.
being, backed up to the residential.
alright, so, Rob, do you need to add anything on this?
I would just wanted to clarify one thing. The application that was in front of the planning board was specifically for the stormwater management
Yeah.
and doing just it was really some housekeeping maintenance that needed to be done. This use was not contemplated as part of that planning board process. So just to be very clear, this was something that came up after the fact.
So this wasn't part of the original discussion we had on the public hearing?
No, this was not a planning board related item. We were looking at the stormwater improvements as well as trying to do the maintenance around the yard. I know, I'm sure you'll hear from the abutters about screening and such.
Yeah.
So, because this doesn't necessarily trip any planning board thresholds
Okay.
for review. So just want that to be clear.
Yeah, no, and I guess, Mr. Chairman,
So Martinez, go
I
ahead.
guess, to go on that, I like what Mr. Arcardi is saying, because often we approve and we don't have any enforcement or any teeth in what we decide. And, we know he's changing part of the business. It's up against residential. And I believe that if we do approve, there has to be very specific conditions. And that if there's violation, we have the ability to shut the business down until the business is in compliance. And we have to come up with whatever that language would be. And I don't know if that's decided tonight or not.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, Mr. Martinez, if you don't have anything to add, Mr.
I
Mays,
don't.
like to,
I just have one, I just need to mention one, I just gotta ask Mr. Lucy or something.
Yes, sir.
The housekeeping is not done. He still needs to put the stormwater in.
Yeah, correct.
So why, I can't support this because, sir, what you promised is not done. You haven't, yeah, you're in the beginning stages of it, but the work is not done. The work hasn't even started yet.
It has started.
It has started, but it's not done. It's not completed. It hasn't been inspected. Nothing has gone through with that, correct?
Yeah, there's been a couple inspections because there was
But
some
it's not-
soil testing and.
But it's not done.
Yeah, correct. It is not done.
So I think what I'm gonna basically just go on the record and saying, I can't support this because the work's not done. The work needs to be completed before you can even come in front of this board. Because you haven't really fully done what we asked you to do. That's just my thought. Like, hasn't even started yet. It's not even done.
Tim, you wanna add something?
Yeah, so, in the past, you have reviewed and, considered applications. And you could most certainly condition it on the completion, everything completed by the planning board, as designed satisfactorily, to the board, to the, planning board, everything completed. I would just be, the concern, the biggest concern here is, the applicant, how many vehicles is he planning on having? I think that's important.
Mr. Stern, do you have an answer for that?
Is the question how many?
How many vehicles you,
It's
plan?
nothing on the application.
Yeah, as far as new vehicles, I was talking two.
So 2 is gonna be the maximum?
Yep.
And then how many vehicles, total you have on the property? I think that was one of the main concerns, if I recall, from the residents. If I recall correctly, do you have any kind of number, how many vehicles you have? Is it training vehicle or is it whatever you need it for?
Yeah, the training vehicles, will see, a maximum of 6.
So basically, you have 6 vehicles right now on the property.
I have 5 right now.
And then if you have 2 more, that brings up to 7, am I right? 7 or 8?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that was one of the main concerns, if I'm not mistaken, from the residents, beside all the fencing, stormwater, all that stuff, they were asking for. And, so I would just wanna clarify that for everybody.
Can I go on record with this?
Yeah,
I
probably.
misspoke about the citation. About 10 years ago, it was some time ago, I was cited for filling in the retention pond. Came in front of the board. I don't know what he was thinking. The retention pond has never been filled in. Well, except now we're in the process. I spent a total of 3 days after this passed to start the project. That's as fast as I could get things going. So in the 3 days, I brought in a fencing company who has quoted me on a fence. The moment that the detention pond is complete, all of the structures are there, the detention pond, I've bought and paid for them. They're sitting there, the hole is dug. We started bringing the gravel in today. So the gravel should be done tomorrow and we'll start laying out these structures. So the amount of time that I wasted from the time that it was approved to what time I started was be back 3 days. And it's been going nonstop ever since. And I intend to see it right through.
I appreciate it for bringing that up. Obviously, it's a public hearing. I'm gonna ask questions to the public. I know, I'm assuming only on the back there, I'm assuming the residents, I remember or recognize some of the faces from the last time. Does anybody wanna add on something other than that? Mr. Stern or we added or highlighted, as well as our building inspector and town planners? Do you wanna add anything at the moment?
Can I jump in?
Um,
49 Mendon Street.
Okay.
We have not
I'm sorry,
attended.
Get your name, just.
Trisha Lawson, but Lee Kaiser's the one that lives there.
Okay,
I'm curious, I listened to all of the past ones from January, February, March. The fencing that you guys are talking about, is that going around the whole property or just on where there was an existing fence? I know there was an existing fence that ended up coming down.
Yeah, the existing fence is gonna be replaced per the plan, and then yes, there is proposed fence to go along the back perimeter as well, where there is a fence now.
The side of my property? Because he's presently on my property.
There's a
has been.
stake there, and we've asked to have some of the stuff moved and it hasn't. We actually have worked with Mr. Fence to come in and put our own fence. But we would need everything moved, which is kind of when we saw this agenda,
That's
we were
what
like,
became.
we thought we would come to see if we'd get things moved and get the fence on, but I mean, if he's already gonna put a fence up, but that's just our biggest concern right there.
I'm assuming Rob and Tim will look into that, or, do you have any questions, do you have any answers for that?
Are you right next door?
Yes, all the trucks that he's got back there,
So looking at the property, you're on the right?
I'm on the right.
Okay,
After the little house, then there's my house, 49.
okay.
My property goes back.
And
That's the survey.
I own this and the railroad tracks.
is he aware that he's on your property?
Oh, he was told years ago and he told me to go to hell.
And you can see, we do have pictures of where the stake is and all the equipment that's here. Yeah, you
I
can have.
certainly talk to you, you know,
Yes.
outside of the meeting on it.
Yeah.
Get some guidance.
And the reason we decided to put a fence up is because we see the work going on there. As long as he stays on his property, I don't have an issue, but I went over there the other day and talked to one of the guys and they said, well, we think we're gonna be using all this area. So I decided to come here.
And he-
So Tim, you will have a conversation with Tim, and Tim will look into that for you guys.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else have any questions? Obviously, the public hearing.
Last, because I have the next one. Go ahead, you guys go. Come on.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm not gonna contact you.
my name's Chuck Woody, 68 Rose Ave.
Excuse me,
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Yes,
sir.
go ahead, sir.
Over the past 20 years or so, we've had a lot of promises given to us. For example, arborvitae fence was supposed to go up years ago. I watched the guy out back there, he was planting the arborvitae's about this big. They were all dead in a year. Just promise after promise of being a good neighbor, and it just never pans out. Right now, all I have, I'm at the end of the property and I have a tank that's buried under the ground there. I don't know if it's upside down or not. I'm not an engineer, but it just seems to me like the outlet of the tank, if it's a storage tank, a retention storage tank, the outlet would be at the top of the tank, not at the bottom of the tank. Just little stuff like that, that he wants to be a good neighbor, who's, I think my opinion is he needs to finish that first.
Okay. Duly noted. Appreciate that. Anybody else, any questions?
This lady.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So I'm just gonna back up and say something, maybe it's not accurate or not. So can I just clarify, he said 24 years?
Before you continue, could you tell us your address and your name, please?
Sure, Michelle Greenberg, 7 Northeast Drive, I abut on the other side, the back end,
Thank you so much.
other street. Can I just clarify, so when I moved, I've been in my house for 24 years and there was a farm, a horse farm behind me. There was no crane company, then it was Blendtec, then it was Fast Something Cars, but can I just get a clarity, I'm sorry, on the 24 years, because that business was not there. When you say you were in business, did you mean in Bellingham for 24 years? Because I don't believe that number is accurate. And I'm only trying to just clarify that because I sometimes feel like I don't know what I hear here, if it's taken by the board and then always assumed that it's accurate. Am I off on this, or
No, you're correct. I've been in business for 24 years. And I moved onto that property in 2007.
Okay, so again, just for the record.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel that we hear things and they're not accurate. So that was not accurate when it's in your records that he's been in business. It's not in Bellingham for 24 years, so I think that's important to note. The second note is, I know when it was the, I'm sorry, I can't, Flat Out Sports, the car company. I did personally call at least 2 times and they were using the same building, the metal structure that you're talking about enclosing everything. That is not soundproof. That is very close to neighboring homes. And when that business was in effect, and I don't know if we have records, I just want to state there was complaints from my end of the street. I don't know if there was from yours, but if we're saying contain everything to that area, that's the area, unfortunately, that my house is in, and it probably will do not a lot of good if doors remain open and that construction, or I don't know what you call it, building is going on there. And there have been complaints from that previous business. So I would be very concerned if you're saying all of that will be going on there, because that's the area that would affect me and my neighbors on that side of the street where there's children and homes and everything else. I guess, again, this is our neighborhood. This is our homes, our backyards abut, our children play in the backyard. It's not something that maybe in the recent years, maybe anyone has called out the noise, but I will say during the year, there has been a few times where I have found the noise very loud and very disturbing. And I guess I'm not, trying to be a bad neighbor and say that I would call the police, but again, just because you don't have a record of there being a noise complaint, I feel very strongly that the noise this would bring is going to be a complaint for the neighbors on both sides. I guess my few final points, just to reiterate, I'm with you. I thought at the last meeting from this, we were waiting for everything to be finished. So it's not only a contingency on finishing that, but if all the work gets finished, there's still a runoff, there's still problems. I would be very opposed to knowing that there's more vehicles with more runoff and more rain. And again, I'm just reiterating what you've already said, but I'm not exactly sure, or I would hope that the board would want to vote on something, not even knowing that the project is completed. It's not the completion, it's what happens with the first big rainstorm or flood after that. Where is all that water going and has it been tested? So again, you have a lot of neighbors here that, these are our homes. We've lived in them for 20 plus years or more or less, but it's very concerning to think there's going to be more vehicles causing more issues. And then my last point is back to the registered vehicles. I have definitely, from my view, again, I don't need to speak for everyone, and I'm sorry if it's me. I have seen many more vehicles than the count that I'm hearing here. And if you're talking about this class license bring even more vehicles, the larger vehicles to unload and others. I mean, I have a clear view right from my back deck on the days that, there's no trees and woods, and I know I've seen more numbers than that. Again, I'm not trying to be a bad neighbor and dissuade what's here, but I don't think the numbers that are here are accurate at all. So again, sorry to babble on, but I do wish you would take all this into account, because this is our home. These are noises that we hear 24 hours a day. This is a business that has had multiple problems with what's been in it over the years, and it would just be a shame to have more approvals for something when there's so many concerns still out there. So again, sorry for babbling.
I think it was a really great, the items actually you highlighted, and, so I think somebody else had a question, or, anybody else would like to add anything? Before we continue? Yes, Tim.
So, to address the concern about the noise, so this is the perfect opportunity. He's in the business district, he does have the right to run a business, but this is the opportunity to regulate the business. Hours of operation, what days he's gonna be open where it doesn't, interfere with, residential off time, out of business hours time. How many vehicles he can actually have there, this is gonna dictate what he can and can't do. So whatever conditions they put forth, he has to abide by, taking your concerns into account.
Yes, I just feel like we've been a year, it's almost a year and a half that we've been sitting between the two planning board and select board meetings, and we appreciate all that both boards have done, but I guess I'm still feeling after a year and a half, we're still to the point of what you exactly said. Nothing has been done yet. There's so many discrepancies. I'm sorry, but every time we go to one of these meetings, there's a contradiction. So you have to understand that not everything that's being presented to you seems accurate in the minds of the neighbors, and that's a concern. He says he's going to do this with the class one. What happens when you approve it and it's 10 other things? What does that mean? We have to call the police, start another board session. I mean, a year and a half of these meetings, it's just, do you see where I'm going?
Yeah,
It's hard
it's a
to-
process.
It's a process, and I feel for you because you have to approve something that he wants to run his business. I feel for him, but these are our homes, our families are here, and you're approving things that are affecting the quality and the lives of a lot of people on these two streets. I mean, I do understand he has a business, but this is a residential area. As you can see, there's,
I'm just gonna stop you there one second.
Sorry.
I don't think we're gonna improve anything, so I don't think, this is, it's just, I think we're trying to figure out, or we get the bottom of it. If the promises had been kept yet, that's why it's a public hearing. And then, it's, and I think that's the great thing, and actually you add in, and then you expressing your concerns. I don't think we approved anything, or I don't think we're gonna approve anything, in my opinion, until we agreed some of the things that has to be done or had to be done. And so I'm just gonna leave it that at the moment, it's I don't think any of us is gonna approve anything, it's until everything is properly done. I'm just gonna leave it with that, and I would like to turn to my right, Mrs. Altamonte, first, because we heard Mr. Martinez, and then after that we'll hear Mr. Abashian, and then we'll go from there. It's, if anybody else has anything else to add, I'm gonna turn to my board members and then hear them, and then we'll take action right after that. Is that fair enough? Perfect, thank you. Ms. Altamonte?
I have some concerns that some
Yep.
unfulfilled promises have not been completed, so that worries me a little bit.
Mhm.
Not to dissuade you from what you're trying to accomplish, but some of these things have been dragging on, so I am a little concerned that they're not even meeting the bare minimums that aren't being accomplished. I do concern myself with the hours, as Tim mentioned, as far as not to work outside of regular business hours, that, not knowing that, I don't think I can move forward on this at this point. But I would invite you to tackle the project and maybe come back when you have that completed. That would be my recommendation, but I thank you all for coming and sharing your insight, because it definitely helps educate me a little bit what you're dealing with, so I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abashian.
I've been with this particular applicant before, many years ago, and I think the neighbors are 100% correct, and I do remember the loud car business that was in there. And that we had to deal with that. I think that you have to go and finish what you said you were going to finish before I can even contemplate this. I want to see the fencing up. I want to see the things the planning board wants done, and I want to see Tim go over, and I want to see how many cars Tim actually thinks should be there or not be there. Because there's nothing on the application that indicates what you want for cars, so I'm not just giving anyone a carte blanche anything, and especially where our neighbors, and this is not the first time the neighbors have been before the planning board or before the board of selectmen, not the first time, so before I would even contemplate this application, I need everything finished and completed, then come back and see me and we'll go from there.
Okay, Mr. Hennessy?
So I respect what you're trying to do, sir. I really do. You're trying to run a business. And it's not easy, especially in today's environment. There are way too many questions. I mean, you haven't fulfilled what you said you were going to sell. There's projects that are pending. I actually think there are more neighbors here concerned now than there were at the last time. I think that should tell you something. I mean, I got a gentleman saying that you're on his property. I think that needs to be addressed first and foremost. I hear that there's an upside down container in a pond, or possibly an upside down container in a pond that you own. That needs to be addressed. I have a woman here that's expressing concerns about, do you have 8 vehicles? Do you have 9 vehicles? Do you have 10 vehicles? Or the 12 vehicles? I have our building inspector concerned about where are we gonna offload the vehicles? Oh, I have enough space. I need to know for a fact that you have enough space, because you really can't be on Mendon Road doing offloading vehicles, and you really can't be in their yard or on their driveway or on the sidewalk doing that. There's way too many questions, and I don't need questions. I need to see a plan and to move forward with that. And honestly, sir, there will be no deviation on that plan. If you deviate just a little bit, I will be in favor of not giving you your license.
It's true. I think what Mike is asking is the perfect thing. I think we need a written plan. I think we need to see everything down in a plan. Every building designated, what is what, and where you're gonna come in with the vehicles, where you're gonna park the vehicles. I wanna see it in writing. I
And
wanna
we
see it
can't
all
have a
laid out.
promise. There's no promises. I need to see it.
Yeah.
It's done. There is, as long as I'm sitting in this chair, I will not approve anything until I know for 100% certainty it's gonna get done. I don't need a promise or a handshake. I need facts.
Can I get a bullet point list of what you just said?
Yeah, Hillary's writing everything down. She can.
Okay.
And then you can have all that stuff from him, and it's,
Yeah,
and-
that would help.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, do you like to add anything on this, or we just mentioned that?
No, I think Mr. Hennessy and everyone on the board is right on.
Okay.
Having his word is one thing, but I think we need to look at that property, have Tim provide his input back to us and Rob, and then
Yep.
provide the applicant with everything that was just discussed, so he can come back the next time. And we do need proof that this work has been accomplished. It
Okay,
has to be done, okay? It can't be conditional, because here's what I don't want to have happen, sir, to have you go out and spend all this money And then you come back and we say no, right? We want to give you a list, said, here's what we're gonna, and you need to do all these items. And we'll, and with those items being accomplished, I think we should be able to come to an agreement, but not until then.
Okay, so do we need to keep the public hearing?
You would continue, just to be clear, these items that we're talking about have to be done, license or no license. These are things that
Yeah,
planning board discussed that,
Yep.
yeah, okay, Rob's in the back, that have to be done, yeah, for the existing operation, so.
okay,
So, yeah,
so.
but yeah, you could continue it to the August meeting.
I think he can probably, once he has everything done and once we get checks off from Tim and Rob, he can contact Hillary to.
We can do that. We would just notify the neighbors again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tim.
I was gonna verify the neighbors this past time,
Notify them.
okay.
Yeah, I think we can do the same.
I think Tim needs.
So I think-
We gotta move on, you
I
know.
think if the applicant could come up with a detailed narrative of his operation and how he's gonna operate, so the neighbors can at least see, what this narrative says and how he's gonna operate and when he plans to operate, hours and unloading and how many vehicles, a detailed business plan. He must know how he's gonna operate. If you can put that into a narrative, I think it would make it go a lot easier and the neighbors could, address any concerns that they have and the board as well. So I think that would help you a lot.
Mr. Stern, if you don't mind, you know, so once you, if you need bullet points, I think we have been taking a lot of notice, and then probably you can,
I'll touch base with.
It's perfect.
Mrs. Stern.
let's, okay, let's continue this.
I'll talk with Rob and Tim
Okay,
and make sure we have everything.
Mr. Chairman,
down.
I'll make a motion
so
to
imagine-
continue the public hearing.
Second.
So we're gonna continue it, can we just clarify this? We're gonna continue it when,
Until all the work is completed that the planning board and the building inspector needs to have done. And they've signed off.
Okay.
And, if it's okay with the neighbors, we'll notify you the same way we just did when the next, public hearing is. Are you guys good with that? Okay.
Awesome, thanks for your time, Mr. Stern, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
What are you gonna roll call?
Oh, yeah, we need a roll call. We
Okay,
need a roll
express
call.
it, I'm just thinking, express your concerns, and, so,
So a roll call vote to continue the public hearing.
okay,
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes,
we got 5 yes.
Okay.
To continue public hearing. Perfect,
Mhm.
thank you very much, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for yours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be in touch this week, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And, we, moving on,
We're concerned about.
the next item we're on agenda.
Off into our backyard.
Yeah. Mr. Dixon, for zoning board of appeals member appointment. Mr. Dixon.
I think Rob wants to be part of this conversation.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. How you doing? Good. Thanks for your time. I know you waited patiently over here. It's, obviously, yeah.
There's.
You have to go through all of that.
Now.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that.
Details. Board of Business first. Did you mention that, Rob has to be?
Well, Rob was gonna, speak for him if he wasn't here.
Okay.
Mr. Dixon has been an associate, member of the zoning board for 2 years.
Right.
And he'd like to, he's applied to, go to the role of a regular member.
Okay. Rob, anything else you want to add, or Mr. Dixon?
Um,
For one thing that
I think what Hillary just said was accurate, but yes, James, how long have you been?
It's about 2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
When I first took this position, I actually didn't have much experience, but I think now 2 years, I think, I kind of roll the role pretty well now.
And I appreciate it for your time.
James has had the privilege of dealing with some of the more contentious ZBA public hearings in the past, so definitely trial by fire.
You still want the real role?
He's seriously, James has been an excellent addition to the board. To be honest, if you watch the hearing, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell that James is the associate member, because he does add a lot of great commentary, and it's been a pleasure, and
That's awesome.
yeah, I think it'd be a great appointment.
That's,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Lovat, Mrs. Lovat.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. James Dixon to the zoning board of appeals.
I second.
We got first, we got second, we got the roll call as usual. I'm gonna start with Mr. Martinez because he's via Zoom. Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Altonante.
Yes.
Mr. Hennessy,
Yes.
myself, yes.
Yes.
Mr. Sebastian, yes. 5-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations, now enjoy being a full-time.
Thanks. I can blame you.
Going along, I did the vote on May 19 meetings minutes as well as executive session meeting minutes as presented.
So-
So for the May 19th regular meeting minutes, were approved, but then
Okay.
for the executive session.
Yep.
I think we approve and not release because it's still ongoing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the May 19th regular meetings minutes and approve the May 19th executive session meeting minutes are not to be released.
we got first, we got second. We're gonna do roll call again. I'm gonna start with Mr. Martinez. Obviously, he's via Zoom. Mr.
Yes.
Martinez?
Yes.
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 Mr. Hennessy, yes. Myself, yes.
Yes.
Sebastian, yes. 5-0. Anything on the old business? Anything on the new business?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, thank you. I know I've mentioned this to Hillary and there's another board I need to speak to, but I did promise at Meet the Candidate at the Senior Center when a woman stood up and asked about putting a light at the end of Depot Street and 126 across from the Dairy Queen. She lives at Depot Court. It's extremely dangerous for them to walk and to try to cross the street. She knows they can walk up, but even the crosswalk a little further up is still very dangerous. So I just want to if she's listening, I promised I would bring this to the board. I would like to bring it to the appropriate committee for us to study, to see if there's a way that we can put a signal there.
Yep.
Knowing we had a fatality there a while back, I think it's time we take a look at that area a little more closely, see how we can slow things down, at least with vehicles that are traveling south. Before they hit the top of the hill, there should be some sort of blinking signal or something along those lines. So I just wanted to bring that up to the
I
board.
think,
I'd like to
Yeah, it's
pursue that.
Yep, so
Thank you.
it's an agenda item for the
Okay.
Transportation
Advisory
Advisory
Committee,
on
yep.
June
Yep.
10th.
Yep,
And the residents of Depot Court are aware of this.
that's perfect.
Yep.
That's great. Thank you, Hillary.
Yep.
Thanks for bringing it up. Appreciate it. Anything else, Mr.?
Yep, I would
Is there
just like to
anything?
say, Mr. Chair, it's been an honor
Oh,
serving with
it's my
you.
pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Your last meeting. You are not running again, and I just wanted to say it's been an honor.
Thank you very much. It was
Serving
my
with you on
pleasure.
this board, the time that we've been working together.
And we're glad you're taking the time to take care of your health.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know, it's I got a second chance in life and I don't wanna screw this one up this time around. Thank you very much for all your love, your support and your dedication. I cannot thank you enough. It was my honor and privilege to among all of you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No.
Wishing you the best.
So much. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you around, son.
Oh, absolutely.
Go fast.
You know, I got your number. I know how to reach out. I have a lot of questions, Rob. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you.
That's all I
I
have.
appreciate it. Thank you very much. If anybody else have nothing else,
We have the warrants on.
No, we're all set with that.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Administrative report.
I can't follow that. No, just, very quickly, I wanted Tim just to touch on the COA kitchen and the police station improvements. Winding down, the kitchen is pretty much done with the exception of the gas
Beautiful, by the
connection.
way.
Looks great, and then the police station, I guess, is moving along quite
Yeah,
well.
so that's going right along. They're on a tight schedule there. They held them to a very short window as far as to get it done, and they've definitely reacted to it. So they're framing it now.
Mhm.
They're just framing the roof right now, so it's gonna be buttoned up quick, and they'll get it buttoned up, and then they'll take the wall out inside. So it's moving pretty good. They're pretty happy with it. with the contractor, he's really, stepped up. As far as the senior center goes, yeah, that's a full commercial kitchen now, and, it's pretty much all cleaned, and they're just waiting, they're setting up still. They're doing all the fine tuning, they hired another cook. They had an existing cook, that was, working at the senior center, they did hire an additional one. Everything looks great, I don't know if anybody's popped their head in there or not, but, it's done, and, the gas company needed to increase the meter. That order has been put in, and they're coming to change the meter, but like I said, they're still trying to get their, setup going and, organize it. There's, a lot of stuff going around, all the pots and all that kind of thing. The kitchen, as far as the kitchen goes, everything's done, everything's buttoned up, so, I don't know what the, projected, I don't know if she has a actual projected time to start serving. I don't know if she added anything to her site page or not.
Not yet.
Yeah, but, looks pretty good. When you get a chance, pop your head in there.
Yeah, it looks
Check it out.
beautiful, and I think everyone is really excited to see it, and it's great
There
work.
was, there was a lot of input on it. Dennis's brother.
Yeah.
Did a lot of work on it. And we've been planning, we've been going back and forth with this for quite a while, and it's finally completed.
That's awesome.
It's a great job by Tim, oversaw that from beginning to
Thanks,
end,
Tim.
so,
Thank
awesome
you.
job. Just another couple of quick things, the town administrative search committee is meeting on Wednesday, and they're actually reviewing resumes, so
Awesome.
resumes are with the
Awesome.
committee members, they'll be reviewing those, scheduling interviews. They'll be interviewing, I think they hope to interview, Caroline, is it next week or the following? Next week, they're moving pretty quickly, so they're looking to get recommendations to the board. Their goal is by the last week of June, does that sound right?
That's good.
Yeah, to have the board actually be doing interviews, so that's their
That's good.
goal, and, I think it's coming together. So.
That's awesome.
All right, and just one other thing, we'll have a few budget updates at the next meeting. I've asked Heidi and Caroline to join us, and Caroline's here tonight. But we'll be talking about health insurance and some of the other budgets that we need to keep an eye on over the coming year. I won't be here, obviously, but I think we want to bring to the board's attention some of those budgets. And I know you're aware of the health insurance budget's gone up considerably, and it's one that we're gonna keep a close eye on.
You don't want to stay on as a consultant?
I think whoever you bring on will be well suited to jump
Yeah.
right in. I'm sure, I haven't seen the resumes, obviously, those are confidential to the screening committee, but I know the consultant is quite pleased with the response.
Good.
I'm kidding, you deserve 3 die.
Thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
And you wanna take care of the last part as well, or just, on the agenda?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. So the last thing on our agenda, actually kind of remind everybody, as you know, town election will take place tomorrow, which is Tuesday, June 3rd, at the Bellingham High School Gymnasium from 7 AM to 8 PM. Please go out there and vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for, just go out there and vote. And then the next select board meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 16 at 7 PM. And I think this will fulfill our agenda. Thank you very much for your time, and have a wonderful evening.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
We got first, we got second, Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Altamonte?
Yes.
Tennessee, yes, myself, yes.
Yes.
Mr. Sebastian, yes. This conclude our meeting.
Gotta hit the gavel, it's your last time.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.